This video is specifically made for Eric Who Knows, so at Eric Who Knows. Eric was making some pizza dough using one of my recipes, and it was a sloppy mess. So there are a couple things that will make your pizza dough sloppy. The flour, right? If you don't get enough flour in there, or if you're using a certain type of flour that doesn't absorb the water, or does absorb the water, that will determine a lot as well on your pizza dough stickiness. And so one of the things that I used to do is I used to make my pizza dough just with 3.5 cups of flour, and then I would add 16 ounces of water, and that's a crazy ratio right there, and my dough would be very extremely sticky. And I did it like that because I loved the taste of it. The taste it retains a lot of the moisture. The dough just it's really good. The problem with that is it's a sloppy mess. And so working with that dough is a real nightmare. So what I'm going to do is show you kind of what I've been doing lately, especially when you're hosting a party and you're making 20-30 pizzas for everybody, and everybody's watching you make pizzas and talking to you, and you can't like concentrate when you're making the pizzas because of that. So what I've been doing is making my dough a lot less sticky. So I will start out with 4 cups of flour today, and then 16 ounces of water. I'll do 2 1/4 teaspoons of salt, and then 1 3/4 teaspoons of yeast. And then from there, depending on how sticky the dough is after mixing, I might add in a little bit more flour, just a little bit. So really my hydration is really between 70 to 80%, something around those lines. Okay, so I'm going to get started, and I'll just show you sort of like a top-down view. This is my mixer. It's an Ankerstrom. I love this thing. It can hold massive amounts of dough in it, which is why I like it so much. Typically, like the mixing, the kneading part, it takes a little bit longer, but it's all good. It's all good. So I'm going to go ahead and get my water measured first, and then I will be back. Okay, so I've got my water, 16 ounces of water that I just put in right from the beginning. Hopefully you guys can see this shot okay. Let's see, something like that. Okay, and now I'm going to mix all my dry ingredients. So I'm going to do 4 cups of flour. Not of flour, I'm going to need to get more. So this flour I've been using for the last couple of years. I bought flour from Costco, and they get it. I'm in Utah, and so they get it, and that's 4 cups. They get it from just like a local mill, and I've got the bag right here. So Lehigh Roller Mills turkey flour. So I have no idea like what the protein is. I'm guessing it's just like a normal sort of all-purpose flour. So we'll see. Oh, looks like I need to get another teaspoon. So I'll do 4 of these because this is a half. Not the most precise measurer person, but that's all right. Okay, and then I'm gonna do 3 of these. 1, 2, 3, and then 1/4. Then I'm just gonna give this a quick little mix. This is seriously like the easiest recipe to make in the history of easy recipes. And now what I'm going to do is, and I'm just going to keep this centered, or keep this paddle on the edge of the bowl, just as I start mixing. Wow, that was really fast. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some of my flour in at first here. And I just mix it in just little by little. Let that baby mix. Doesn't look like you can see it very well. Maybe I need like a light reflector. That'll help. That's not helping. Sorry. I'll just take my word for it on here. And now this baby just needs to mix. I'm going to increase the speed just a little bit. As I touch this dough, it's pretty tacky still. You can tell it's pretty tacky. So I might put in just a tiny bit more flour, but it's already starting to form. I'm trying to do like a, you guys know the window pane test? You can hold it up, and if it doesn't, you can stretch it, and if it doesn't tear, then it's ready. It's not quite ready yet, so I'm going to keep mixing it. Okay, I'm going to add just a little bit more flour to this, okay? Just a tiny bit more flour. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it down off of this thing fast here. Yeah. That should be just enough flour. We should be good to go. So this will probably need to mix for another, I don't know, maybe like 3 minutes or so. This flour get mixed in, and then it's time to cut. This dough's basically ready. It's been mixing for about 10 minutes total. I would say kneading for about 10 minutes total. Go ahead and let me speed this up just a little bit. All right. Okay, so the thing that I want to point out here, which is awesome about this mixer, 15 to 20% capacity, something like that. That's what's amazing about this mixer. All right, so I'm going to take off my take off this little attachment here. Okay. So if you notice, like the dough it's tacky, but it's not really like sticky. There's a pretty big difference to that. I'm gonna throw down a little bit of flour here. Pull this out here. And really I'm just gonna use that for my hand. I'm not really going to mix much of this flour into it, but I'm just kind of making it even easier to work with here. So, looks good. Okay, so I'm going to throw on my scale. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let me move this back a little bit more. Maybe you guys can see the weight. All right. Okay, so I'm going to do about 8.5 to 9 ounce dough balls. 9.3, take off just a little bit. 7, 4, and then I'm left with 8.4. That's fantastic. Okay, so what I'll do is just roll these into tiny little balls here. So, roll these, and what I'm doing is I'm pushing everything over. So I'm just like trying to take the dough from here and stretch it over the edge. So I'm pushing it over the edge, and then once it's over the edge, I'll try and grab it all with one hand like this, and then kind of twist. And when you twist it, it turns it into that. And that's pretty simple. So once again, I've got my fingers underneath it like this, and I'm just pulling the dough over the edge, and then I'm twisting it. So I'm pulling the dough over the edge, and it's kind of like a, you stretch it with your palms, but also underneath. And then wrap it around. Done. Just like that. Beauties. Okay. Hopefully that answers some questions. So I would say total amount of flour is like 4 cups and maybe an eighth. 4 1/8 cups of flour. Something like that. So, sounds good. I'm gonna spray a little oil on these babies, put these into a container just like this, just like what I keep my yeast in. And then I refrigerate for 24 hours, or I can just throw it in the freezer and go from there. And really what I've been doing in the freezer is I've just been spraying the inside of a large Ziploc bag, and then I can fit four dough balls in that one bag just fine. So, okay, hopefully that helps. Peace.